Thank you for watching us on YouTube. But did you know that if you're on the go, you can get the full show as a podcast now? You can get our morning breakdown of the most important topics facing our country, news not being covered by the mainstream media, interviews with change-making progressives, and info on what you can actually do about all this. Search for The Damage Report on your favorite podcast app and subscribe so you know when new episodes are ready to go. Interesting legal change now going into law in California. With the governor signing a law, this is SB 826, requiring the state to have at least one woman on any corporate board. So this requires any corporation that's based in California to have at least one woman on its board of directors by the end of 2019. By the end of 2021, the bill mandates that number increase to at least 2 women directors if the corporation has 5 directors, or 3 if it has 6 or more. So it's sort of instituting this gender balance. Again, I plan on having Brooke on to talk about this. What do you think about this change? I mentioned that because I go from having Brooke to a misogynist. No, I'm joking. Anyway.
Thanks for implying that I have no way of empathizing with the female.
I'm just saying, generally you want to have better representation.
Whatever condition they suffer from, hysteria. I don't know what women are like. Is that what you want from me, John?
Brooke's never going to come on the show again.
Yeah, she is.
What do you think about this change?
I think this is, I mean, the converse argument to this is like, it's a meritocracy. You know, you should have people who are experienced with being on a board. In the meantime, you have a system under which women just don't get on boards because they lack the experience, and they never are given the experience because this meritocracy is more of just like inertia of a system that keeps them out.
Yeah.
And this is just like one. Boards of directors are large. One, just one. Try it, you'll like it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like much to ask. And I understand conservatives will probably go crazy because they do honestly believe it's a meritocracy. I don't think it's a meritocracy at all. Like, there's stuff that goes on in the business world that to a person who's never made $1 million with stocks just doesn't make any sense at all. I was talking with Steve, who's, he's a businessman. He understands businesses and stuff like that. We were talking about Maker. Maker's a corporation that represented YouTubers. And everyone was like, this is the best thing ever. This is gonna be huge. And they became so valuable. And I, as an outsider who has no business experience, who I don't have 2 nickels to rub together, I looked at that and said, they don't actually make anything, they're not actually worth anything. And after being bought for $1 billion, they're sold a couple years later for $20 million because it turns out, they're not actually worth anything. They had a board, I'm sure, or maybe it was diverse, I don't know. But the idea that these business people get there purely based on the fact that their brains are so superior to everyone else's, any interference whatsoever is unnecessary because they're already choosing the best people, I think is ridiculous.
I don't buy that argument.
Which argument?
The one you just made.
Which argument?
It's just like this holistic, like, they failed, so the business people don't know anything about business.
I'm giving an example.
That's an example, but the way that
Would you like me to give 70 examples?
Yes.
No, there's no time for that.
But I'll give you, that's one example. I would just say that fundamentally the way that those business people approach business is, they just listen to Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban said, I feel bad for professional baseball players. They have to hit the ball 1 out of every 3 times they're at bat in order to be considered successful. I, as a businessman, only have to hit the ball once with a very successful business in order to be rich. The way you throw people from boards of directors on, it's not, they can still be considered successes as board members at large, being on multiple boards if they have 1 successful company out of 10. So that happens.
Okay, maybe I wasn't clear about what my point was. My point with the example of that particular one was there's a lot of myths about why business people succeed. The idea being they get in there, they make a business a success. What I'm saying is that is not actually true. And very often people become incredibly wealthy and successful based on short-term strategies to artificially drive up the valuation of a corporation, knowing that it's not actually gonna go anywhere.
I just don't know how that applies to like putting women on the board of directors.
What I'm saying is it is part of this, there's a popular mythology about how people become successful business people, the sort of people who end up on the boards of directors of big corporations. With this myth of it is all based on they are obviously the best for the position, they will produce the best long-term results. If you were to mess with that and to artificially put someone else on, you would be damaging that corporation. Well, I'm saying that's not actually how it operates right now at all. Very often those people have like sort of perverse incestuous relationships with the CEO where they're mutually benefiting each other's salaries even though that's not to the benefit of the corporation, or they pop in there for a few years, drive up valuation, the company goes under, doesn't matter, they already made their money, those sorts of things.
I get that.
Okay, I didn't explain it better because we only have a few minutes to talk about this
I'm
topic.
glad we wasted that time almost breaking up.
We'll still break up. Anyway, this seems like a good change. I'd like to see more representation on corporate boards. And what's interesting beyond even this is, if you can make a legal change that mandates at least one woman being on a board of directors of a corporation, maybe there are other changes you can make. Maybe you could put representatives of the actual workers for those corporations on that boards. Maybe it doesn't just have to be a bunch of wealthy people that have no vested interest in the actual people or who are producing the goods and services of that corporation.
Right, in order to give, and this is not saying that every woman needs to be on the board, needs to be all women. This is just increasing the opportunity for women to be on the board in a way that doesn't seem completely prohibitive, as it has played out.
Yes. Okay.
Until now.
Thank you very much for watching this clip from the Damage Report. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell on YouTube to get notifications of our new videos. And of course, you can catch the full Damage Report live every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on TYT Network on YouTube TV.